We are pugging a +13 Temple of the Jade Serpent. I'll show my talents here at the start. You just have to pause it if you want to look through them and stuff. Basically just running a kitty weaving build just to help kill bosses a little faster since they're dying a little slow in this first week. But other than that, our main goal is definitely just to be healing. And then we're just using Flourish, Nature's Vigil on cooldown, and then I pop Nature's Swiftness and Convoke. Get extra potency with the regrowths that get cast during Convoke. And then for these corrupted living waters, you can actually LOS these. We kind of have it in a not so ideal spot, so it's hard to LOS. But if I were to stand like up here right before he does the Tainted Riptide, you can just LOS it around a corner. So that can be really useful for if you're struggling with these mobs, especially if they're enraged and not getting soothed and stuff like that. And there's another one here, and we can LOS around this corner. I just Iron Bark the tank. That didn't LOS that one successfully. Since we're so far away, I can't really LOS effectively without other people dying, so just Convoke here for healing, just to catch up a little bit. And then we just follow up with a Swiftmend into Wild Growth. Didn't really see that swirly. Oh, I got debuffed as I released. That's not good. No, come here. Run to me. Nice. Hot up the tank and I, press Flourish, Nature's Vigil. Should be able to get an LS here. Nice. Let me dispel somebody else.
You dare to disturb these waters? You will.
And this boss is really annoying. The main thing is when he debuffs a player with the Corrupted Vortex, I believe it's called. Yeah, right there. You need to drop that outside of this ring that we're all in. Let's see where the Warlock dropped it is totally fine. And then the boss is going to do Wash Away. And you just got to watch where he's facing, and then you just want to get ahead of him. So he's going clockwise. So now we wait here until the water goes, and then we want to get as far as we possibly can, which is usually 2 sections. And then now we wait. You can see like where they're dropping it right now is not ideal. The outer ring is better than the inner ring, but you ideally want to drop it away entirely from the group. Pop my trinket and use Convoke. Go in cat form, do some damage. And then here's this ability again. Now we go as far as we can. Get right behind it basically. And then as soon as the water's safe, like right here, the water's about to explode. Now it's going to go off. So it's just about getting as far as you can in between each. There's not an exact indicator of when the water's gonna like geyser up, so you just have to get an idea for the timing for yourself. Through trial and error. As long as you don't die to that, the boss kind of just falls over. He doesn't really do much else. That was an interesting choice.
It only delays the inevitable.
It's going this way. See, now we have this in the way, which is really annoying, but we should be good here. It's gonna end. There we go. He'll be able to release soon.
Into these waters, and my reflection is empty.
For some reason, the boss has to finish RP before you're allowed to release. And then this next hallway of mobs, I'm not 100% sure what everything does yet. This is literally like my second time running this dungeon. But I know there's lots of interrupts. So there's lots of things to interrupt.
You there, in the rafters, my sacred.
And then these guys, okay, I remember these guys. They throw torches on people right here. These debuffs, they need to be dispelled. And whichever one you can't dispel, that person needs to be like Omega healed. Because the debuff hurts a lot. Luckily, it's gone on the tank every single time, which makes it pretty easy to deal with. Also need to make sure we soothe these.
See how they pour from every letter of
And I think this guy just does an interrupt.
corrupting them, defiling them.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. When the little Shas die, they explode and do damage to everyone. So if they're raging, they just double that damage. So Raging Weeks is really rough with them if you can't like AoE soothe. I also didn't soothe any of them, and I wasn't prepared for it. So it's just the lesser Sha. So right here we have a bunch of them that are going to be dying again. So we're going to prepare the group properly this time for it. And they're dying, so I'm going to press my bark skin. Get a hot on everybody. There we go. Still wasn't super ideal, but that's okay. And then with Storming, the reason we're not clearing instantly, just in case anyone's curious, is because the longer you have the debuff, the more of a buff you get from it. So it's a damage increase while you have the debuff. I don't remember the exact amount, but you get like a 30% or 20% damage increase for the duration of the debuff. But if you clear your debuff with somebody else, then you lose the debuff. So you want to hold on. The trick is you want to be holding on to it as long as possible, and then clear it at like within the last 5 seconds. And Pugs obviously have to be cautious of that, because it can get messy if you wait too long. And then here, the tiger just puts a bleed on a random player, so just need to heal that.
The elements answer to me! You must destroy the source of the corruption. Quickly, before our cherished history is erased forever.
And then this next boss, basically what you want to be doing is just keeping everybody topped up, because there's just like constant sustain healing to do. There's just unavoidable group-wide damage happening throughout the fight.
Let me shed some light. As the tale goes, the young Gaul was traveling across the Kunlai plains when suddenly he was ambushed by 2 strange creatures. For the ancients! The young Gaul attacked the beast with great determination and ferocity. Yet, the more he attacked, the more fearsome the beasts grew. However, when he let it alone...
So see, there's just like passive damage happening the entire fight. I convoked in the middle of Quake, so we lose like half of it, which is really unfortunate. I'm gonna pop Bark Skin here. to help catch up. Our life blooms out. Definitely need our F-low down. Barkskin the Warlock.
The elements answer to me!
Easy enough. Lots of sustain healing to do during that fight. Nothing too scary.
For you see, strife feeds on conflict. When you have peace in your heart, strife will find somewhere else to roam. You have my thanks, heroes. You have given peace to this sacred temple. Now, off with you. I require meditation before I begin the restoration ritual.
The elements answer to me!
I was very irresponsible with that quaking. Now this debuff is a super big pain.
Marked by lightning!
Gosh, when those are raging, that is so bad. You can probably LOS them. It's probably worth doing on raging weeks. Here we can do the Flourish Nature's Vigil combo. Get everyone topped up. And then as we go into this next pack, while we still have Nature's Vigil up, we can pop a Nature's Swiftness and then a Convoke. And the reason we do that during Convoke is because Convoke will cast lots of regrowth, so as you can see right there. And Nature's Vigil healing is increased, or its damage is increased based on the amount of healing you do during it. So you pop Nature's Swiftness, and then if you get any regrowths during your Convoke, they will not consume the Nature's Swiftness proc, but still give you 100% increased healing on the ability, or whatever Nature's Swiftness gives. So you just get bigger regrowths for free. Only really important to do it when you have Nature's Vigil active and you're pressing Convoke. If you're just pressing Convoke, it's not as important unless you're trying to do more healing. If you're trying to do like a big healing Convoke, then it's definitely worth. And here we're gonna Bark Skin and Iron Bark someone. These are about to hurt. Need some mana. These guys are also going to explode. No, there's actually no explodey ads in this one. I have the debuff though, so this debuff when it expires is going to do a huge amount of damage, and then it's a decurse. Or you need to heal through the healing absorb incredibly fast, otherwise the player dies. But I think it's just going to be one of those things that you just have to have a decurse for, because it's pretty bad. Get some more mana again. And this boss, I'm trying to remember. During stage 1, she, I believe, applies a debuff to a random player. We're gonna see. I gotta remember everything. Yeah, so she applies a dispel to the tank, so you just dispel that instantly. And then every time she does the Serpent kick, it's gonna send like these 4 flame waves out very quickly, and it's really hard to see where they're going, so I like to just stand far away. I'm sure there's some kind of indicator. It's probably here. If we get closer, we might be able to see it. Yeah, see, they're there. They spawn at the very like tail end of the cast, so it's pretty difficult. But there's little waves that spawn on the outsides, and then you just need to dodge them. And then here, same thing. This one's a healing absorb instead of a dispel. Now we're just healing through that heal absorb and keeping the tank topped up.
The cycle must continue. The Jade Serpent must be reborn.
And then during this phase, mostly the same thing. There's a big tank hit, and then she's going to shoot waves out. At some point she'll do it. Big swirly that spawns. That's it.
The haze has been lifted.
So that boss is really just keep the tank alive, and then watch for anyone who makes mistakes on getting hit by the wave, and just make sure yourself, you yourself are not getting hit by the waves by seeing how to look at them. And then here the Warlock's going to get hit pretty hard, so we're going to be ready to heal him and dispel him. So luckily he pressed a lot of defensives, so big smart player. And then it's on us, so we press Barkskin. Spell. Does so much damage. He's gonna hit hard. Debuff. Gonna press Flourish and Nature's Vigil so that it's back up for the boss fight. And then we'll also just do a Nature Swiftness and Convoke. Damage is exceedingly low this dungeon compared to the other dungeons I've been running, but I think it's just because the higher we go in key level in pugs, like the more I just need to be ready to heal. And going into cat form is a pretty big risk, especially with all these debuffs and stuff that happen. Spell. Soothe. I just kicked myself for no reason.
The elements answer to me!
Out for that frontal. We have all these Sha minions dying, so we're just convoking for healing. Out for the frontal, put a vortex down just to help out. Flourish, Nature's Vigil. Just Nature's Swiftness to heal up the Warlock real quick. Oh my god, they hurt so bad, man. As soon as this quake happens, I will trank. And we should be all good now. Not too bad. Can we get a +2 in? We might. I think we will. Getting a little bit of mana before the fight starts. Now, this boss is going to put these debuffs out. You need to dispel one, heal the other, in typical double debuff fashion. And then as soon as you have your dispel up, you need to dispel the second one. Now we're going to get adds that spawn under our feet. We want to try to group them up towards the middle of the room and then use crowd control and stuff to keep them there so that we can just AoE them all down. And they do lots of damage with their melee attacks, so if you have melee DPS sitting in there trying to kill them all, then you want to make sure you keep them alive. I'm gonna bark skin myself, health pot. Just dispelled the rogue because he didn't have cloak, and then we dispel myself. And then we catch up with a flourish and Nature's Vigil. Press my trinket, dispel the warlock because he has nothing, and we'll iron bark the demon hunter.
The elements
And we almost have our dispel back up. There it goes. Now we just need to play catch up. Gonna just convoke here. I should have dispelled first. That's okay. The real play here is the warlock switches to a him and just dispels the other one. That's okay. We run this through the boss, dispel the demon hunter, put down vortex. And your ad will always spawn, I believe it's always behind you, like it will kind of disengage from out behind you. Dispel the demon hunter here because I have bark skin. I have a hellstone. Going to hurt pretty bad. Dispel. Oh my gosh, man. Dispel rogue here because he does not have cloak. And the demon hunter might just be out of luck. Oh, he had a health pot. Nice. Perfect. That's it. I'm going to get the +2. Barely. That commentary was a little jumbled. I think my idea was just to run a dungeon, just talk over it. I'm going to talk about more specific topics in depth as the week progresses, and I kind of decide on different topics to talk about, whether it's builds or certain dungeons or just certain mindsets of dealing with things, that kind of stuff. So just keep an eye out for it. I'll also be talking about all the healers, but I always try to make these videos somewhat applicable to every healer so that any healer can watch me play any other healer and it will be helpful in some way, because all the healers work in the same way. It's more just about ability usage and stuff. So thanks so much for watching. See you later.